What was a time when you used a sex move you saw in a porno in real life and it ended horribly? I once used a numbing condom without realizing it. She finished and I wasn't even close. Fucking weird. She removed the condom and started sucking me off. After a couple minutes she attempted to articulate that her mouth was fearing funny. We checked the box and laughed for days. First time I came in a girl's mouth, she spit it out in her hand and threw it at me in surprise. It was her first time giving a blowjob. She spit in your ass. Tried to last an hour. Didn't last an hour. Just wait for daylight saving time. I'm 4 feet 11 and my husband is 6'2". We tried to fuck standing up leaning on nothing in particular when he hoisted me into the air and then lost his grip. The man dropped me to the floor like a sack of potatoes. Your username for some reason makes this 10x funnier. I laid my wife on the edge of the bed with her head hanging off and tried to face fuck her. She wasn't having it. I think it was trying to have upside down rough sex, then accidentally knocking out the person fucking me. For the first 3 minutes I thought I killed him. Fun times. I was once trying to do some rough play with my current so things heated up in the living room and escalated to me picking her up and carrying her to my bedroom. Once there, in an attempt to manhandle her and show off strength, I chunked her onto the bed like a broad which banged the fuck out of her tailbone and resulted in her crying for 10 minutes. The sex did not continue. You Batista bombed her? My girlfriend at the time jumped at me while I was standing, but physics didn't agree with the movement and I wasn't braced well. Instead of catching her and proceeding to bang her like James Dean, I lost my balance and started falling forward. She ends up planting her feet, backpedaling off balance for 3 or 4 steps into a small rolling nightstand with a lava lamp sitting atop it. The lava lamp falls and shatters. Of course she ends up bare-assed in the resulting lava, water, glass shard mixture. I ended up removing glass shards from her butt cheeks for the next 20 minutes. I put my thumb in a girl's mouth, cause I saw Drive, Manhattan do it. My finger is not like kissing a battery, and I don't have bangin' blue muscles. Was a mistake. I was trying to blow a load like Peter North. I was going for distance, so I pulled out and looked down to enjoy firsthand the glazing. I was about to put spray across my partner. I came in my own eye. I was on a Tinder date at the time. On top of this guy, he thought it'd be super hot if he grabbed my hips and slid me to sitting on his face. Too bad that we had too much momentum going. I ended up hitting my nose on the backboard of my headboard so hard that it broke. Hot in theory though. Me, well that just killed the mood. I'm gonna leave now. I had a female friend tell me women were just as nasty as men. I explained that if I was receiving a blowjob and the girl spit on my dick, I'd find it hot. If I was eating a girl out and spit on her vagina, things would be over. She responded with, well that's just gross. I accepted that as concession. Picked girlfriend up, put her on the dining room table to fuck, ended up breaking table, blamed it on the dog. Fun times. Your dog broke the table by fucking your girlfriend on it? I tried to pull off a standing 69. I dropped my poor girlfriend on her head. The old tombstone pillar driver. Decided to give tearing outside sex a go. Drove down a country road and pulled over. Started going at it with my ass hanging off the hood of the car. We hear a car approaching and my partner panics and drops me on my ass, flat on my bare ass in the dirt as a car comes along, while he stands there all nonchalant. Thanks honey. My husband is really into stripper porn. I tried to recreate a move where the man was sitting in a chair and the stripper does a handstand. Thighs resting on the guy's shoulders, her cooch in his face. Then she twerks, almost like a seated 69. Lighting and music are perfect. I ask him to sit down, do a little floor show. Then I pull out my big move, execute it perfectly, except as begin to twerk I let out the loudest queef right in his face. Do not fuck a girl up against the glass wall in the shower. especially not in a rented apartment. That wall is expensive. I cock slapped a girl's lips and she started laughing. I don't know how to take that. I would do the same. It's not sexy at all and feels pretty damn weird. I thought I'd try DP, but then the one guy started sucking the other guy's dick, so it never happened. I won't be exploring that any further. Not seen in a porno, but in a chat room. While I was in college, I was talking to a woman online. She was going on and on about how her husband used a horse cough drop on her while going down on her, and she loved it. So I tried it on my girlfriend, now wife. It's been almost 20 years, and the image of her holding her crotch, jumping around and yelling "it burns, it burns," remains seared in my memory. You got trolled, sir. When I was a teenager, the guy kept sticking his finger in me, then into my mouth. It was annoying, and I asked him to stop multiple times. He wouldn't, so I figured I would do this thing I saw on Winamp porno stream. I snowballed him. He really wasn't about that life. Ended up vomiting off the side of the bed. He never did the finger thing again, and we broke up a few months after. Was getting sexy against a wall and tried to pick her up by grabbing the back of her thighs and lifting. She just slid down the wall and landed bare ass on the floor. One of my smoother moves. We were on the bed and I tried to pick her up and fuck her against the wall while standing on the bed. I didn't know her bed was on wheels. Bed slides out and we go into the gap. My forehead breaks her nose and splits her lip. You still finish though, right? Cock slapped her in the face. All the tears. Who was the one crying though? We tried the Amazon position and I ended up farting. Pretty much stopped everything. Amazon position? Was this done in packaging boxes? Guaranteed to come in 2 days. I asked my wife to call me pappy/poppy during sex and forgot about the request. A few days later she yelled out "OHH pappy." I stopped my fantastic moves and looked her in the eye and said, "Who the hell is Bobby? That boy ain't right." My girlfriend at the time was giving me a BJ while I was standing up, and I thought I'd return the favor by picking her up and spinning her upside down for a standing 69. She got freaked out about being picked up, farted, which made me gag, and I ended up giving her a tombstone in the living room of my first apartment. She kinked her neck and hit her foot on the edge of my coffee table, while the forward momentum of the drop caused me to slowly fall on top of her, bending my dick on her stomach. That emergency room visit wasn't a fun one, and the doc couldn't stifle his laughter during our explanation. Ex-girlfriend thought it would be hot to hit me during sex. I was standing by the side of the bed and had her face up laying down on the bed. Then she proceeds to give me the most fierce backhand I've ever received, right to the cheek. Instant boner killer, and my face was redder than the devil's dick for about an hour. What I've learned from this thread: never pick up your S.0. I tried to fuck the pizza delivery guy. Needless to say, I didn't even get the pizza. Older lady in wealthier neighborhood would request me by name, 19 years old college student at the time, and answer the door in a silk sheer bathrobe and no pants. Finally on the 4th visitor, so she propositioned me, and I wanted to turn her down nicely because great tip money. So I said, "UHH. Wouldn't your husband be upset?" And she goes, "No sweetie. Nope, the hell out of there." We started sending our greasiest 30 years old land blob to that house, and then they stopped ordering entirely. I think they got the hint. My ex-boyfriend was going down on me for the first time, and all of a sudden his head jerked up and his face was covered in blood. I freaked out thinking I started my period 3 weeks early. Turns out he got a bloody nose. He was very embarrassed, but I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Just as a tip, doing the pile driver is actually kind of hard and uncomfortable. Don't do it unless you have good lower body strength. Instructions unclear. Put girlfriend through the Spanish announce table. Bar gourd. Sh's broken in half. Not me, but my roommate. He and his girlfriend tried something while standing up. Heard a primal scream. She runs out naked screaming for us to help. Ran in and his dick was broken. I cannot explain what I saw. A penis pointing entirely in the wrong direction, looking blue and red. He was in agony, but could not touch it. We called ambulance. It was pretty serious, we heard later. He had to stay in the hospital a couple days. To this day we don't know what they were trying. I was a virgin making out with a girl in bed one night. I didn't know how to ask if she wanted to have sex. She pissed herself laughing, and she made me wait another month to finally lose my virginity. The Australian has been spotted. I repeat, the Australian has been spotted. I hooked up with a nice girl after meeting at a party. The first time we did everything short of anal. We were drunk. Don't worry, it was clearly consensual, it was fun. And I remember saying, "You're like my own personal porn star." And she loved that. A few weeks in, we were at it again, and she said, "You can do anything you want." I thought quickly about how all the porn I'd seen recently had lots of ass eating, and so I made an attempt. I guess she had done a number 2, and there was for sure a bit of that flavor. I thought that was normal, and I powered on. She seemed to be into it, but kept clenching her cheeks. At one point I was licking the booty hole and rubbing the clit, and I felt like a champ. Then this happened quickly, and we spoke about it many times after, but this is my memory. She says, "Wait, stop, and I pull up and say, "What's wrong?" And then the nastiest fart I've ever heard came out of her ear end. I almost passed out / threw up. We didn't ever try that again. But I saw her at a party maybe 7 months ago, and she was drunk and said, "Remember that time?" So I guess it wasn't that embarrassing.